guys, I'm gonna record some stuff today, and it may or may not turn into a video. If you're seeing this, then it obviously did, but I gave my friend a I guess you call it underhood lighting, and basically it looks like this. Anyways, I asked him how he wanted to trigger it because it does the flashy thing and then the light stays on. Well, he doesn't really want it to stay on, so he wants to basically have it come on when he turns the ignition on, and then after it goes back and forth, then turn off. I told him the only way to really do that would be to buy a relay timer, and he bought one off Amazon that looks kind of complicated, so I told him I would help him wire it up and stuff. So I'm going to record all that, and obviously we're going to have to fuse it, and we may end up having to add another relay and stuff. So you might be able to learn some stuff if you're going to add lighting or whatever to your own vehicle. So if it looks beneficial when it's all said and done, then I'll turn it into a video, and here we are. All right, let's get started. So he showed up. Looks like he's already got it mounted. So he got some LED lights, so they would actually match that strip thing. And keep in mind it's bright out, so that's why it doesn't look as bright. But so we need to take that and unwire it from the lights, wire it to that ignition with the relay timer installed. Just gonna hook these up. I want to test something on his fuse block. We might be able to tap into it right there instead of having to go inside. Can you turn your ignition on? Hopefully we get a red light. If we can find one of those, I could just put a nail spade on there and then stab it in there. That's negative. Okay, turn your ignition off. Damn, that's constant. It stays on. Turn it back on. Alright, I'll let you guys know if I find something. Alrighty, so that's the ignition switch harness. It said black with green, which should be this guy right here. Can you go ahead and turn the ignition on? Okay, and then just crank it real quick. It should stay red. Huh, that's weird. Usually ignition 1 stays hot. What was ignition 2? It was red with black. It's not gonna matter, but I'm curious. Try that one. It's barely. Huh, they both do it. Okay. I guess
what's that mean?
Nothing. For an alarm it would matter because you don't want to lose your ignition during crank for a remote start alarm. But ignition 1 here is black with green, ignition 2 is red with black, but they both go to ground during crank. But it doesn't matter for us. We're using it as a trigger for that. Yeah. Oh, maybe we should take a look at that little relay thing that you bought and see what all it needs, because we can tap everything from here. We can grab our constant power and our ignition power. That's it.
Oh shit.
Oh, okay.
I need the paper?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so there's the relay portion. Here's the actual relay. And then you got normally open down at the bottom. The middle would be common and the top would be normally closed. So we would only use the middle one, which is common, and normally open. And it doesn't matter which one goes to which, but we will feed positive in to one or the other. And then once we trigger it, we'll get our positive back out that will feed straight to our light. And then we're supposed to be able to set the timer for however long we want. And he only wants, how many seconds did you say?
5.
You timed that light and it runs for about 4 or 5?
Yeah.
Okay. And then over here, it looks like on the bottom here, it looks like we have to give that constant power, but we'll probably try it with ignition just so it's not drawing power all the time, because that's more parasitic draw that you don't want. He's already got a bad battery as it is. And then, okay, on here, let's see, yeah. Okay, so it looks like we have to give, on the bottom left here, 6 to 30 volts, so we'll give it constant 12 volts. And then it looks like they give you your choice of triggers, these top 3 pins right here. So it looks like they're calling high level trigger positive and low level trigger negative. So we will feed the positive, or the ignition, into that top one. And then we'll probably end up having to do constant power and ground here. And then the positive, the same positive that we feed into here, we'll also feed it into one of these two, either normally open or common. Doesn't matter which one. And then whichever one we don't use, we'll come out of to feed his light. And then we'll have to figure out the programming on this. I think last night I was looking at this. You can pause it to read it if you want. And I think I said P1 or P2 would be what we would want. And then other than that, I think you just tell it how many seconds. And did you kind of go through this?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll let him program it. But and then I don't know if I have any heat shrink big enough to put this whole thing in, but hopefully we can wrap it up somehow to protect it. But all right, let me grab some wire and we'll get to hooking it up. So I actually found these. I pulled these fuse holders out of the Samurai, so this is what I'm going to use for constant power and then ignition power. I'll just pull the fuses out for now so I don't have to worry about shorting anything. And then I will do, let's see, I'll strip one way back and I'll show you guys my little trick for soldering wires under the dash. Alright, so what I do, I'm going to use these two. I'm going to use ignition 2, which is this, and then I'm going to take the black with purple, which is constant power. So what I do is I take a tool like this, let me back it out a tiny bit, and I clamp down in 2 spots. So I'll do that, and I'll kind of rock it back and forth, and then I'll pinch a 1/4 inch away and rock it a little bit. So now I've basically cut all the way around there and all the way around there, and then I just take like an alpha blade, run it down without cutting yourself, and it just pops off like that. And then you can wrap your wire around and solder it. It's super easy. So let me show you one more time. I hope you guys can see this. Kind of just jiggle it back and forth, go up a 1/4 inch, jiggle it. So I'm going to take my 2 fuse holders, and if you notice I stripped one of each a little longer, so do that one, wrap it around, and this one. And because I'm not fully cutting them, I'm not going to heat shrink. I'll just use black 3M tape. Okay, hopefully my soldering iron's hot enough. Let's see. Alright, let me clean this off. Alright, my soldering iron's kind of on the fritz, so I think I'm just going to use this torch. You can do that if you're just careful. It sucks because it wants to light the shielding on fire. This one I'm going to have to be really careful because I got those other wires behind it. Sorry if you guys can't see. And I never use those Scotch lock things. Those are just garbage. Doesn't matter what I'm doing, I'll never use those. Okay, so now we've got our two positives. Our ignition is going to be our trigger. Ignition was the black one, and then our positive is going to be the red one. There we go. Sometimes they'll tighten them from the factory, I guess. And then I'll probably just do my own ground. All right, so let's see. Looks like that's a good ground. If I touch. So I'll probably back that off and put a ring terminal under it, and then run it right through there for our negative. We'll fold that onto itself. I got a little ring end terminal here. Let's see if a lighter will work. I got one. Still in a habit of carrying one ever since working. I used to use Bic lighters to solder every day for doing security systems and stuff, low voltage stuff. While he's going over the instructions, I'm going to try to find a way through this firewall, and I think I see a grommet that we might be able to use right back there. So I'm gonna, I used to have a whatchamacallit, an antenna that I unscrewed off a vehicle, and I cut it at an angle so it was sharp, so I could poke right through those and at a downward angle, and then you'd see it inside. I don't know if I still have that or not, but I do have some drill bits that are long that I may be able to jam down in there. And I'm hitting something already. It goes in about an inch. Let me try this angle. Okay. Hey, you see that?
Yeah.
Awesome. I think I found our way through the firewall. And the cool thing about those drill bits, some of them, they have a hole in the end. And this one does, oh, it does. Okay. Since he's still reading the directions, I'll go ahead and run this through the firewall so you guys can see what I was just talking about. So I'll cut this like that. And I don't know if that hole's big enough. I may have to strip it. Oh, no, it fits right in there. If you guys can see that. And then normally you would twist it a few times. Give it the old hawk tua, you know, put a little spit on it.
Play with it?
Huh?
Can I play with the relay?
Yeah. I'm just routing those. Well, I have 1/2 inch, 3/8, and 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch would work best with that wire. However, I'm going to use 3/8 because when Harbor Freight had a deal going on, I bought a whole bunch. I just got it clamped onto my toolbox there, but I bought a whole bunch of those. These are all 3/8, and then those are 1/2, and then extra pack of zip ties. Yeah, so it's a little bigger than necessary, but it's basically free. Alright, so when you're doing this stuff, you want to push it. Figured we were going to come across here. Move down. And he's got the wiring right in here, I think. We're having a real hard time programming that stupid thing. You gotta mash like all 4 buttons and kind of twist the board a little bit. But we finally got it to where it's set for 4 seconds, and that's like perfect. So I guess we're gonna call this good. Let me show you what we did with the wiring. Huh? Yeah, it looks really good that way. Came out of there, came up and over, and then he just wanted to follow this other wire loom, and it came back over to here, soldered it, taped it, and then he just shoved it down there. But anyway, they're both fused. Do it again. Looks a lot cooler at night, but that's what he was going after. Here, I'll do it so you can see it. I have this tape. It's like fabric crap. This is like what they use at the factory. Oh, come on. Not very sticky though. Alright, this is how I just put a zip tie around it. And I got some of that felt tape on the back, so hopefully it doesn't short out. And then here's our 2 fuses. So I'm gonna go ahead and put everything back together. Alright, we're all done for the day. He's taken off, so I'm gonna record it. All that for that. See ya. Alright, you guys. Well, that's gonna do it for this video. I don't know if you learned anything, but hopefully maybe it gave you an idea for something you want to do, or I don't know. But anyway, thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one. Take care.